Hello builders, parents, and collectors. On this episode of the Creation Evaluation Station, I'll be evaluating this. It's Miles Morales Mech Armor. And different take on Spider-Man. It is Spider-Man, but it's not Spider-Man. Before I get into it any further, let me just say that I do in-depth reviews of models and construction kits, both new and old. Mostly Lego, but other products as well. I also do reviews and discussions of other creative works, such as movies, video games, and animation. Because they're in-depth reviews, they can be on the longer side, although this one shouldn't be too bad. It's a small box. But there are timestamps embedded here on the red line, and also down in the description that you can use to jump around to your favorite part, or to use as bookmarks to come back to at a later date. So getting back to this, let's take a closer look at that box. There's webbing there. Stuff. It's a big old fist. And there's the back with the character outside the mech, which I think that's pretty cool that they do that. Give you a closer look by doing both inside and outside the mech. To get down to its details, it is set number 76171. It's for ages 7 and up and has 125 pieces. It's originally retailed for $9.99. It is no longer available, and it was released January of 2021, of course. And this is going to be my last set in the 2021 Marvel Mech Marathon. So I will be discussing them at the end as a whole. So let's head over to the light box and open it up and see what's inside. Here we have the contents of the box here, and we've got another nice thick instruction booklet, small one. No stickers with this one either. 4 doors, the only one that got stickers. We got 1, 2, 3 bags, but wait, there's a 4th one. This one is the web splat pieces. I don't know what they're called, but yeah, we got all sorts of web pieces in here in blue, which is kind of cool looking. So let's open these up and take a closer look at the parts. Here we have the parts to this by Miles Morales mech, and we have these awesome colored transparent blue spiderweb pieces. We got his chest piece there for the mech. And we have these other transparent parts, including these blue, but they're not the same blue as these blue. Really interesting how these work out. Not this is a new color blue. I mean, they don't have a regular transparent blue. I don't know. I'm kind of curious. And here's Miles up here. Got some more parts. Oh, where's the printed? There's the printed piece that'll be on his chest. The Nexo Knight shield there. It's kind of cool. A lot of small stuff. Similar pieces here and there from the other sets, but that's because they have similar builds. Speaking of which, let's go put this all together. Here we have Miles Morales' leftovers, and we have much more than we did with the other figures. Not a lot, but at least we got some transparent parts, including the hand part here that can be used with effect parts. But that still isn't much at all. Here we have Miles Morales all put together, looking pretty spiffy. I love this blue colored webbing stuff. Before we look at the main mech, let's open up the cockpit here and check out Miles. The figure here opens up just like so. It doesn't open up quite as wide as Captain America. It's about the same as Thor, but his legs sit and straddle a little piece in there, and that's what holds them in place. You get them in the right spot, and then that closes up and it holds them just fine. So looking at him, he's got a little bit of a web shooter going on here, but some really nice printing there with his hoodie. We don't get the full costume, but I do like the hoodie look. There's the back. And the hoodie can come off. It's just a single piece like that. And this is the first time I've seen this piece. I've seen other hoodie pieces that kind of drape over the way they don't have it over their head. But I like this one. You can see him without it. He's only got one-sided face, but that's okay. That's all you really need for Spider-Man. Doesn't make too many expressions in that mask. But yeah, I really like this hoodie piece. To see it used more often. But let's put him back in there. Come in, close him up. Doesn't have any external accessories. There's that blue thing, and it plugs in. Just got a little clip it clips onto right there, and it's off to the side, so you can make this awesome Spider-Man web slinging hand. Before we look in that any closer, I'm gonna pop this off because it'll probably fall off anyways. Start with the shoulders here. We have the shoulder here, and it's on a nice ball joint. Got this. You got this, which is, I don't know. I almost think they should have put something like this up here, but it's like shoulder armor, I guess. That doesn't cover the shoulder very well. That's why I think they should have put it up here and like hinged it off to the side. I mean, if his arm's out to the side like that, it looks okay, but that's also kind of weird to have his arm off to the side like that. And it can rotate as well. Now there is a little hinge here piece for this webbing that's, I don't know, supposed to be kind of like a cape or something going on. He's got a webbing cape. But yeah, those are on a little hinges on the actual arm. And then down here we've got another joint. Doesn't have full 45-degree angles unless you go sideways, so you almost need to go like that so he can turn like that. I don't know, the instructions had it going the other way, but you obviously with these multiple ball joints you can go any way with it. And then he's got a wrist joint here, plenty of motion there. And as we were talking about, the fingers, they're all on these joints with these little gripper pieces. Make great fingers and very expressive, so you can have them do the I love you or the Spider-Man shooter thing. And then moving down to his waist, he's got a torso twist here, but it's not a full 360, but it's got plenty of motion. Then there's the hip joint that's on a ball joint. You can kick off to the side and front to back. Unlike the other ones, he's much more flexible. Kind of makes sense with being a Spider-Man. His knee is bendable 45 degrees that way and 45 degrees the other way if you want to break his legs. And then he's got an ankle. He's got much smaller feet, as you'll see. Overall, it looks like a thinner, slimmer Mech, which is fine. It's what you kind of want for Spider-Man. And he's got a little bit of rotation there and a little bit side to side as well. It can rotate if you need to, if you want the legs splayed out a little bit more. Now, even though his feet are on the thinner side, he's still got plenty of balance if you don't whack him. I just did. The trick is they may be narrow this way, but they're still kind of wide that way. It's like he's on a pair of skis. And the other arm does just about the same, except it's got a little web shield here built on the back. Oh, that's what the back of the hands look like. Oh, and the back. I almost forgot the back. Back here we have just a place to put these web handcuffs. You can hold them there until he catches his criminal and needs to put them on. This thing ended up using all the web parts on here, which is a little disappointing because I wanted some extras, but they make for some nice highlight on this and definitely make them stand out more from the other two mechs. So let's head back to the desk and give this guy a final evaluation. Let's give Miles Morales here a final evaluation. But first, my final thoughts. I really like this one. This one, mainly because of all the cool webbing stuff that's on him. And, well, I really like the figure, too. That hood was really nice, and then the print went right along with that. This one is definitely... And it looks different, and it's designed slightly differently than the other ones to make him look more slender, which also he's a little bit more posable as well, just the way they have the joints aligned and they designed them. So really, before I say much more, let's move on to the final eval. And as far as appearance goes, he looks great. There's definitely some interesting design work here in this character, and he's got, you know, all the basic colors, got that lovely print there on the front, and figure looks great as well. And I gave appearance a 10. Now, as far as function goes, like I said, he seems to be even more posable than the other ones, just by the orientation of the joints. And he also, well, he doesn't really do much else other than the posability. I do like, you can get his fingers in that classic spider web shooting pose, although right now I don't have him set up that way. But you can do that, which is really nice. And then he's got all the other stuff going on with the joints and everything else. So I ended up giving him a 10 for function. For fun, like I said, all these have the same problem. They're just a single figure, so there's nothing to play with these guys inside the box. You can always have your whole other collection. You could have other mechs or whatever that you've purchased and put together. But inside the box, just the box alone, there's not much to play with. Now, the build is quite fun, and it goes together quickly, so you can enjoy this. There is the fun of just simply posing it. I mean, sitting there playing with his fingers and making spider shooting signs. Kind of fun, but that's pretty much all you can do with this. And I gave fun a 9. Now, as far as techniques, there really isn't much amazing here. Like I said, they rearranged the orientation of the joints, but there's still simply these ball joints that they've been using for all of these. So there's nothing really overly interesting there. They did, you know, like make them smaller looking, gave them narrower feet, the narrower legs, even though they're actually quite wide, or this way they're quite large. So yeah, I ended up giving technique a 9 because there's nothing really amazing, but nothing bad either. So take all that up, get a 38, divide by 4, you get a 9.5 for your final evaluation score. So decent little guy. Like most of them, they've all been getting 9.5, except for Thor, which you'll see that video, you'll know why. As far as which one's my favorite, there isn't one that's really hands down my absolute favorite out of these. I'm not saying there isn't one total. Really had to choose. They're all sitting over here. I'm thinking about it. There's both things I really like about all of them, but nothing really stands out above the others. So yeah, I don't have a favorite. But please let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Which one's your favorite after seeing these 3? But compare these with the other ones, I still think the Wolverine's my favorite. Yeah, I think so. It is interesting how they changed the hips for these when they went to the next year, the 2022 wave. Not sure entirely why they did it. I have my theories that they wanted to go with something. Maybe they were trying to build a more sturdier hips and weren't quite so loose. Because these are loose, but I think they'll be fine. There is a thing that those came out really late in the year, a lot later than they were supposed to be released, because they had to go back and redo the hips again, and the hips they ended up were rather simple and a bit odd, because they were technically uneven, but because of the way the joints work, you don't really notice it too much. And also, those do not have hip swivels like these do, because of the way they're built. So, I don't know. Would really like to know the story behind all of that. What I've heard is the original hip designs for them, and why they took so long to come out. Which they didn't come out at the beginning of the year, and then they were ended. They weren't even out a whole year. They discontinued them at the end of the year, just like they did with these. But these came out in January. Those didn't come out until I think almost the middle of the year. But the reason why they had to change the hips and they took so long coming out was because the hips that they had used illegal methods. There's potential breakage of the parts, which is not something you want. So anyways, yeah, let me know comments which ones you like, if you have any questions about them as well. We got one more wave to go. I don't know when I'm going to do them. We got the very first wave left to do. Well, that, and we have the new ones. These are all the old ones we're doing. We have new ones that came out this year. I will hopefully be getting them and doing them sooner rather than later as well. Newer sets, when I get them in, I try to do them right away. These are part of my backlog. And I've got a large backlog. But yeah, we've got another 3 to do there, plus the 3 new ones. And then I have at least one of the battle pack. There's the double packs. I don't remember what the battle pack, the 2-pack that came out last year, if there was one. I don't remember. I know they had the Spider-Man versus Dr. Ock, and I don't think they had one the first year these came out. But that was the second year, I think. I'm going to look more into that. If you're new here and you have not yet, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, please like. And check out, hit the bell for notifications, but also check out my links in the description. There's Facebook and Twitter you can follow me at, and you will get notifications a lot faster than YouTube. YouTube is slow. I don't know why, but it is. And there's also a link to Patreon down there. If you could help out that way, that's great. That helps things more directly. But anything you do for the channel, just simply watching the video helps. And subs definitely help for right now. Help the channel grow. And that's it for me here at the Creation Evaluation Station, reminding you that creativity is key.